Yo, welcome back to the FitBiz Podcast. Jordan here, where I'm going to share with you 4 easy to execute tips to increase engagement on your social media. Before I get started, I'm trying to catch my vision because I just looked right into one of these giant lights in my office and I cannot see now. There are all these tiny little dots all over the screen, so bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and just do this without vision. I don't need to see. It's overrated, right? So, who needs to see as long as people engage with our content? And I also have to apologize because I have this giant sore on the side of my tongue that it kind of sounds like I'm drunk. I promise I'm not. I wish I was, but I am not drunk. I just have a sore on my tongue. So anyways, let's kick off with the episode. So 4 tips to increase engagement. All right, number 1, ruffle some feathers. All right, what do I mean? There's a quote that Blair Warren said one time that you've probably heard me say. It goes like this: people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, ally their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. So the whole point here is really that I want to highlight is throw rocks at enemies. Okay, so you want to stand up for your beliefs and share your opinions on shit, especially if it's controversial. All right, so some people will really identify with those beliefs and what you stand for and like what your opinion is on some sort of a subject matter, while other people might disagree. But either way, even the people that disagree, what's that doing? It's boosting your engagement. Like we have ads right now that we're running that are just getting loaded up with like terrible comments. I mean, some of the most fucked up shit you could possibly imagine. And I'm like, cool, you guys are just helping boost the engagement on those ads. The same thing applies with your posts. Okay, people who engage with your content, they need to love what you're doing or they need to hate it. Okay, anything in the middle ground, they'll just kind of see it and be like, okay, that's cool, and they won't take any action. And the point is that for people to truly love you, you also have to give other people permission to hate you. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. Somebody who does this really well is Jordan Syatt, who I'm sure we all know. And hopefully this audio is going to play. So
a Harvard professor says you should only eat 6 fries at a time for a proper portion. Okay, first and foremost, fuck you. Second, and most importantly, this professor's got to be a fucking serial killer because I don't know a single sane person who has 6 fucking French fries and calls it a day. But wait, there's more. It is recommended that you share a plate of fries with your friends. Listen up, Doc. Get the fuck away from my French fries. But seriously, 6 French fries is not a portion.
all right, I think you guys get the point, right? He's being very blatant with his beliefs on this subject. And if those of you guys are listening, he's just doing like a green screen for an article, right? Something as simple as that. Things that you maybe see throughout your day that you're like, it's fucking bullshit. Talk about those things because, again, you're helping to throw rocks at enemies, and you're also allying your prospects' fears. You're confirming their suspicions. They probably also think that's bullshit, but they need an expert like you to confirm that. So that way you agree. And they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I agree with that guy. All right, I'm going to play one more example. A friend of mine who his content's awesome, Maverick Willett. He's a big Viking-looking dude who markets to not just busy moms, but divorce moms, which is a cool niche. So I'm going to play this video here real quick.
Chicks with no kids, no life experience, high metabolisms, and breast milk still on their breath trying to tell you how to lose weight as a mom. Look, girl, we all have the same 24 hours. I'd like to respectfully disagree. Chelsea Fit / Monique Fit / Sarah Fit / insert 22-year-old bartender with a Bible verse tattooed on her ribcage, first form supplement pyramid scheme fit. You see, sis, while you're filming your hip thrust with a tripod in the middle of LA Fitness on your parents' membership while telling us to work out while the baby's sleeping, we're scrubbing cornflakes out of the carpet and loading another Motrin oral syringe because our 3-year-old is sick for the 12th time this week because preschool just started again. While you're regurgitating motivational quotes under an ass pick you took on shoulder day at the gym, you make time for what's important to you. She rose from the ashes, a wolf among sheep. We're running on 3 hours of broken sleep and can't even remember when our last meal was, but it was probably leftover mac and cheese. We are not the same.
Oh man, that's just awesome. You see what he's doing there, right? He's creating a mutual enemy that is these like young girls who don't have kids trying to tell moms that, hey, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. That's bullshit. That's his belief. That's what he stands for. And it's just a really great approach. All right, so that's number 1. Ruffle more feathers, speak more to your beliefs, and help rally a cry of alliance, create mutual enemies, okay? So the second thing here is to use more negative hooks. So what do I mean by negative hooks? So what I mean here is you need to, like with your hooks in your content, both in video and in your captions, think about it like this. There's a reason that Jersey Shore was so popular, right? It's like watching a car crash. People are always going to stop and look over at the car crash because it's negative and people are elicited by negative things. So instead of saying like, here are 5 fat loss tips to help you lose weight this summer, which is fucking boring, instead say like, fat loss coaches are going to hate me for saying this. All that cardio you're doing is only going to make you gain weight and hate your life before this summer, right? See the difference? Here are 10 others, just like quick scroll stopping hooks. You know what? I'll come back and give you these at the end of the episode. I'm just going to give you 10 really good hooks that you can use. And this is going to make you have to listen to the rest of the episode. So again, negative hooks, stop, don't, quit, bitch, hold up, things like that, right? The next tip is called delayed commenting. And this is just like a little tactic that our marketing team has been using and it's worked, which is basically you're going to wait and reply and like comments. Well, I would still reply to the comments as quickly as you can, right? You got to engage with people who engage with you. It's super important. But what you'll do is wait until like the next day that you're about to post again, go back to your prior post, like all of the comments. So as soon as you like it, what's going to happen is it's going to show, those posts are going to show up again in those people's algorithm. And if they engaged once, they're likely to engage again. Therefore, it's going to boost that next post engagement, right? So 4th tip, recycling your best posts and kind of, I call it reformatting the big idea. So if you have a post that you create that does well, okay, it gets engagement. A lot of times what we do is we're like, well, that worked. Awesome. And then it just goes by the wayside and it's gone forever. So instead, keep a catalog or a list somewhere that all of your big ideas, you can reuse them. So you're either going to just repost the same post, which I do recommend doing, regularly, because again, people don't remember seeing it. Not everybody does see it. And if they liked it, they want to see it again, right? When's the last time you heard like an awesome song come out and you're like, well, I heard that once, I never want to hear it again, right? No, you're probably playing it on repeat. So people like seeing the thing that they've already seen once again, just like a movie. Sometimes, or a lot of times, the second time you watch a movie is even better than the first. So not only just recycling it, but taking the big idea and reformatting it. So let's say you create a reel on a certain subject with one big idea. When I say big idea, that could be like Maverick's example. His big idea is essentially chicks who are influencers who don't have kids trying to tell moms what to do with their schedules, right? That's the big idea. So he could take that big idea and reformat that into like 5 different posts. He can make a tweet style post. He could make just like a written caption. He could refilm that same reel just with like a different hook, different angle, different examples. Obviously, if the one big idea worked once, it'll work again and again and again. So just like reuse that same big idea, and eventually you'll start to find that you have like 5 to 7, maybe 10 core big ideas for your audience that always hit and always resonate. And you'll just continuously redo those, but telling that big idea in a different way, a story or an example or an analogy, or just like direct, right? So that's tip number 4. And before I jump into the scroll stopping hook examples, the last thing I want to share is this. Stop bitching, all right? Stop crying over your spilled sugar-free almond milk that, engagement is down. Okay, we get it. It's down for everybody. That's just how these platforms work, okay? It goes in cycles where when the platform is newer, it's more advantageous to the creator, right? Because they want creators to come on the platform. Well, as the platform ages, now they focus more on monetization. So they take power away from the creators and they put it more in the hands of the advertisers. So it's like, okay, who cares? Just get better, right? That is what's within your control. You cannot control like views and glitches and, user habits and trends and follower preferences and impressions and inactive followers and comments and all these things. You can't control any of those things. What you can control is this. Number 1, quality of your posts, okay? Getting better at what you're doing, providing more value, posting frequency, posting every fucking day, showing up on your story every fucking day, engaging with other people, right? Being social on the platform and building relationships. That way you guys genuinely start to comment on each other's stuff. And then your level of service and level of focus, like how much are you actually giving and caring about what you give to the platform and your followers, all right? So last thing I'll share here, and look, 2 more things. I'm going to share the hooks, and just one more reminder is that, look, even though engagement is down, our students are still crushing it, right? Like nobody within our program is like, well, I shouldn't say that. There are people that bitch about engagement, but a ton of our students are still killing it. Like Jessica, our client Jessica, she matched her entire 2022 revenue in the first 4 months of 2023, okay? She basically generated $12K in the first week of May. We had Katrina, who had a $10,000 month already in week 1 of May. Okay. We had Ashley, who had her highest month in April, doing over 20K. We had Adam, who had a $20,000 month. We had Amy, who collected $10,000 in 2 days. So like, just because your engagement might be down, that doesn't mean that you're not going to still get clients. A lot of the time, the clients who do sign up with you, they might never engage with your content. So just make sure you're focused on the right thing. So lastly, here are 10 scroll stopping hooks that you can use as examples or just reuse these. Number 1, the real reason your jeans are so tight. Spoiler alert, it's not the dryer, right? Number 2, why kale is gross and bullshit and why you don't need it to lose weight. Number 3, your scale isn't lying to you, you're lying to you. Okay, that hook is like it's kind of negative, and it's also like calling out your ICA. It's saying like, stop bullshitting yourself, which I like. Number 5, the number 1 weight loss myth that, women over 30 always fall for. Throw these health foods in the garbage now. Why your current diet is only making you fatter. The biggest cardio myth that you're probably falling for right now. Stop skipping breakfast. The Instacoach lied to you. Number 10, a step-by-step plan to not fit in any of your favorite bikini this summer. Warning, controversial. All right. So that's it. Hopefully this was useful, and I'll see y'all on the next episode.